Hi, welcome to this tutorial on how to create a small pair of Gumpaste shoes to fit on a cupcake, just like these ones. What we're going to need to be able to make this Gumpaste shoes are 3 pieces of Gumpaste, one in pink, one in ivory and one in white. The colours that I've used to colour these are just Wilton colours in ivory and pink terracotta. You're also going to need a rolling pin, a knife just to cut the shapes out, a tool that has a sharp point, or if you don't have one of those, just a needlework pin, some edible glue, some paintbrushes to paint on the edible glue, a small cutter. This one I've gone for 5-petal flower cutter just to make the pattern on the front of the shoe. You're also going to need a template of the different parts of the shoes that you're going to need. I've put a link below in order for you to download this. So once the parts are cut out, what you actually have is the sole of the shoe, the inner lining of the shoe, the front of the shoe, and the back of the shoe. Okay, all we want to do now is roll out the pink Gumpaste to about a thickness of 1mm to about 1.5mm. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the sole of the shoe and place it on the Gumpaste, and then using the sharp knife we're just going to cut around carefully and there we go. Okay, that creates the left hand sole of the shoe. So what we want to do is flip it over to create the right hand shoe, like this, and just flatten down any edges that are sticking up just to make it look a little bit neater. And there's your 2 shoes. What I have here is just a lid of a packed lunch box, because what we want to do is just pull the shoes up and start getting them into the correct shape. So we want to create the dip in the shoe where the heel can connect. Okay, what we want to do now is just take the ivory colour. Now the ivory is going to be for the inner lining of the shoe and will look a little bit like leather. And what you want to do is get this one probably about 1mm thick, and then you want to get the piece for your inner lining and cut that out and just lift those out and neaten up the edges. And there you have your 2 inner soles. And then what we want to do with these is just around the edge is just put in tiny little pinholes, or using your sharp tool and just put little dots all the way around. This is going to look like stitching on the shoe, and it's going to look like it's stitched to the sole of the shoe. There we go. And then what you want to do is bring in the 2 soles of your shoes which are drying and your edible glue. Make sure you get the right sole for the right shoe and just add some edible glue onto the back. And what we're going to cut out now is the top of the shoe and the back of the shoe from the pink that we used earlier. There we go. So what we need to do is cut out 2 tops of the shoe and 2 back of the shoes. You don't need to flip them over because they're symmetrical, so they're going to be the same either way. So we just want to cut. It can be quite fiddly to cut the pieces out because the templates are so small because we're trying to get them big enough to fit onto a cupcake. These shoes end up about 3 centimetres in length, so they fit quite nicely on the top of a normal cupcake or cupcake made in a muffin case. Just want to make sure these are nicely shaped so they're quite neat. Okay, and then for the top part of the shoe, what we want to do is just put the dots into those as well, like that, and bring back your 2 little shoes that are drying. As you can see, they dry quite quickly, so they've already started taking the shape of the shoe. And what you'll need is your glue and your paintbrush again, And we'll start with the front of the shoes. So what you want to do is just on the sides, is paint a little bit of glue, and then take the front of your shoe and place it onto the side. There we go. And then just wrap the front around. Just hold it in place where the glue starts to stick. And then that starts forming the shoe. There we go. And then to place the back on, what you want to do is just wrap some glue around the back. Put a tiny line of glue just on the bottom edge of the heel, and then wrap that around the little shoe, and then put that back where you had them drying, just like this, so that it can carry on drying with the shape of the shoe. And then what you want to do is add these bits onto this shoe, and what we want to do is just leave those to dry for about 30 minutes or until they go solid, before we put the heels on, because at the moment they're too soft and we could just ruin the whole thing. So if we leave those to dry. Okay, now the shoes are partially dry, what we want to do is just put those to one side and we can start making the heels for the shoe. Now to make those, what we need is a small part of the pin, and we just want to make 2 balls like this. And then what you want to do is just push the ball until it's about the right size to fit onto the back of the shoe, and then flatten that bottom down so that it's got something to stick onto, like this. And then what you want to do is lay it on its side and then just start rolling it, and then this is going to create the stiletto. This, so just keep checking that you haven't made it too big and that it's still going to fit. What you want to do is just make 2 of those. Don't worry about the length of them at the moment. We're going to cut those down so that they're the correct size for the different shoes. Like so. And then what you want to do is take your glue, put a dollop of glue on the back of the shoe, make sure it's flat, and then just hold it into place. And then what you want to do is just try and work out roughly where the shoe's going to stand up, and just block that off. And then what we're going to do now is we're just going to create the decoration for the shoes. So if you just take a little piece of white gum paste, just to how it comes out of the packet, and then roll that out. You can do this however thick you want. I'm going to keep it a little bit thicker just so that the pattern shows out. Then take your flower cutter, push it into the gum paste, and pull that little flower out. Make another one and push that out. You could put flowers or some little bows on the front. And then take your shoes, put a tiny bit of glue on the back of the flower, and then you just want to get that in the right place, push it down slightly. The same with the other one. There we go. And there are our 2 little shoes ready for the cupcakes. So I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and the cupcakes that these went onto and other cupcakes and cakes that I've made can be found on my blog at cakesbylins.co.uk.